Hey guys, I know life can be an exhausting and kind of a confusing journey with all these speed bumps that appear with breakups with loved ones, deaths of the loved ones, work, school, time. They all seamlessly work together sometimes against us. So I want to share with you a philosophy I take in life called Live Jiujitsu. Now most of us watching this obviously know what Jiujitsu teaches, the principles and the concept of it. But how do we mix all of these elements of a martial art and apply that to everyday life and make it a martial way? Now obviously we're not going to be walking around the streets and around the office, breaking wrists and triangle choking people who don't agree with us and tripping around. Can you imagine what kind of world that would be? That would be insane. But we can follow the same philosophies and the same canter Jiu-Jitsu teaches and apply it in a different manner. Now before I show you guys examples of how we're going to do this and how we can do this and what Live Jiu-Jitsu is, I want to share with you a quote that I think really is the encompassing quote of Jiu-Jitsu and the encompassing quote of Live Jiu-Jitsu. And this is a quote said by Rickson Gracie. He said, if size matters, wouldn't the elephant be the king of the jungle? Okay, now let's think about that. Let's look at how Jiu-Jitsu started. Jigoro Kano and Helio Gracie. Let's look at both of these guys. They're both small, tiny, and frail. But yet, through details and through techniques, they were able to overcome and become triumphant over their opponents. Okay? So, they weren't very big, but they overcame bigger people. And I think that's what Jiu-Jitsu is. And that's going to help explain Live Jiu-Jitsu. Okay? So how do we apply these little tiny things and concepts that we learn in Jiu-Jitsu to everyday life? Let's start with that whole size element. No matter how big your opponent is, you should be able to beat them because of technique. Right? A little tiny guy like myself should be able to go up against someone 290 pounds and outwit them and use better technique to defeat them, not my strength. So what that shows is really cool. What that shows is no matter what obstacle is in our way, or no matter how big our goal is, we can get it, or we can overcome that obstacle. Whether it's starting our own business, or whether it's just passing another test, we can overcome those through techniques and details. Okay, and some of those techniques, let's look at that. Okay, control. When we have our opponents, we're always grabbing their wrists, right? We're always grabbing their gi, always lapels. We always have control over our opponent. And I'm not saying go out and control other people because that would just be crazy. But what I'm saying is have control over yourself. Okay? If someone starts coming after you and yelling at you and screaming, don't yell back. Don't scream back. Have control over yourself. Take a step back, relax, assess the situation. Now what goes along with that is off-balancing, kazushi in Japanese. Okay? If we're ever off balance, we get thrown. Or we get swept, right? In side control, if we put all of our weight over our opponent, they're just going to post, upa, and toss us over. So how is this the same in real life? Well, if we ever off-balance our emotions, if we ever become just super mad, and that's okay to become really mad, and that's okay to become really sad because those are natural emotions. But we need to express them. We need to control ourselves, and we need to express them and not cross the center of gravity because we'll get thrown. Now let's look at the details of Jiu-Jitsu. There's so many fine details which makes it so effective. Right? There's so many techniques that have very fine details like the triangle choke. The triangle choke is really not just wrapping your legs up. There's so many little tiny details that when they're all put together, then they create the triangle choke. So, if we switch that to life and pay attention to all these little tiny details and work very intricately, think about how much better our work would be. Think about how more proud our bosses would be because our work's way better. Or if we're our own boss, think about how much better our product would be if we paid attention and developed these little tiny intricate things that made our product the true best. So you see, these are just a couple of examples of how Jiu-Jitsu can be applied in everyday life, right? With the main one being, size doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We can do whatever we want. We can accomplish whatever we want. Because we need to use the right techniques. We need to pay attention to the details, have good control. And another one, I just thought of another one, posture. When we do Jiu-Jitsu, before we start Randori, right, and we're doing stand-up Randori, we're not walking with our arms out like this and our head down and all crunched up, right? We have good posture. Our hands are out, our hands are tight. When we're sitting in someone's guard, we're not extending our arms. Our hands are in tight like a T-Rex. When we're in mount, we're not pushing our hands up, right? We have good posture. Now, if you were just walk around like this in real life, people would look at you and be like, what is that dude doing? Is he a T-Rex? Or did he escape from Jurassic Park? No, but there's a different posture in life. Walking tall with your head high, showing you're confident, can help you gain those same goals. Right? So all of these elements that are in Jiu-Jitsu are also out there in real life. And that's all we have to do is just apply them. Let's take our hobby, our sport, or our life and apply it. Thanks, guys.